Good morning. Happy Sunday. We're gonna do a little recovery stretch today, just a short session. Struggle. I just got back from a little Sunday morning walk, so I'm gonna do some recovery. Also, I'm feeling Friday arm day. Maybe you are too, but my back is definitely sore. So I highly recommend going on a little walk, bundle up, go get at least 10 minutes of walking in the morning, go get some vitamin D from the sunshine outside. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. And then come back to here. We're gonna do a little stretch session. We're gonna start with a downward dog. So you're gonna go big hands. You're gonna pop the hips up and drop your head through. So you're gonna feel that kind of in your calves, hamstring, back of the legs. So you're kind of pushing away from the floor, dropping your head to the floor, and you're trying to get your heels to reach towards the floor. So if you're super tight, your heels might be high, but you're trying to drop those heels to the floor as much as you can. We're just gonna hold it for a couple seconds. And then breathing. So we want that ujjayi breath. So breathe in through your nose. And then out through your mouth. I say without opening your mouth, so you're trying to, as you breathe out with that breath, you're trying to sink into the pose. So trying to get deep, let your muscles relax as you're breathing out. Go again, breathe in through your nose. Breathe out, closed mouth, but hopefully you can find that breath. Then you're gonna pedal out your calves. So we're trying to stretch, lifting the calves, alternating lifts. So we're stretching through those calves, through the hamstring still. Then slowly let your head sink, stretch through the shoulders. Okay, then you're going to take one leg and you're going to lift it up as high as you can. And you're going to go big step outside your hands through. So we're going to drop our hips. Don't let that back knee touch the floor yet. So you're dropping your hips. You're going to hit your hip flexor here. Hold this for a little bit. And your up nose on the ball of your toe on that back leg. So holding here, hold that hip flexor up. Keep breathing in through your nose. You could play around with your hips here. If you kind of like slide side to side, you can hit different spots of your hip. So wherever you feel like it's tight, just hold that spot when you find one. Okay, then you're going to drop that back knee to the floor and do the same thing. Just sink a little bit more through the hip flexor. Same thing, you can kind of go. My favorite is if I push my hips to the side, away from that front leg. So I'm pushing my hips towards behind me. Feels so good on my hip. But whatever you need, find something that feels good. And by good, I mean painful, but it'll feel good when you're done. Your body will thank you later. Okay, then you're going to take this front knee and you're going to push it out. Doing that variation around through the hip. Okay, then we're going to get that back leg. So you're going to pop that foot up and try to grab it. Stretch it through. Okay, I have to, my quad's so tight right now, so I have to pull back so it doesn't stretch my quad as much. So if you pull your hips forward and pull that leg, it's going to really hurt. Pull back if it's too much. Oh, tight, 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 tight. It's painful now, but it'll feel good later, right? Okay, then you're going to release the quad and you're going to take this front leg and you're going to go straight, hitting your hamstring. So pull your toes up, or you can keep them pointed and really deep, leaning into that hamstring. This is where, if it's really painful, breathe. Focus on the breathing. Relax. Try to relax the muscles. Breathing through the nose. And if you play around with your foot, if you tilt away or tilt in, you're going to stretch a different portion of your hamstring. Okay, then we're going to go from here. We're going to go back to push-up position, but with that same leg, you're going to drive it through your hands. Your foot is going to come across your body, but from the front, looks like this. So here, push-up position, drive that knee forward, foot comes across the body, and then you're going to sink down into that pose. So you're trying to hit your hips down. So from the side, pigeon pose is what this one's called. We're sinking down the hips. Don't twist. We don't want to open up. Here, you're going to lose the stretch. So here, drive the knee, foot comes across, and you want to stay hips right underneath the shoulders so we're nice and stacked on top of each other. And then your heel, knee, hip should be in a straight line. So we're trying to stretch through our glutes, through our hips again. So we're holding pigeon pose. So the front knee, it's called pigeon pose. The front knee is like the claw, it's called talon, foot of a pigeon, and the back leg is supposed to be like the tail feathers of the pigeon. So you can kind of go to your forearms if you want to sink deeper into the pose, or use your arms and slowly lower until you find a really deep stretch. If you're feeling good, you could rest your forehead on your hand or all the way to the floor. But if you're super tight, you might have to stay up. Okay, then we're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So coming out of it, we're back to push-up position, and then we can come into downward dog. Same thing. Let your head sink to the floor. You can pedal out your calves. Whatever feels good, whatever your body is telling you it needs. Okay, then you're gonna lift whenever you're good. Lift opposite leg up that you just did, and you're gonna step through and outside your hands. So coming to the back now, keeping that leg, the back leg up and straight. We're almost kind of like pulling our hips up, but trying to sink forward. So with the rear end, your glutes, pull those hips up, but then kind of sink forward. So we're stretching through that hip flexor, which is right in front of the hip area. Think if you elongate from your head through your tailbone, so we're pressed away from the floor, we're elongating everything. So we're pulling up here while we're driving forward. And then breathe. And when you're feeling good, you're going to drop that back knee to the floor and then sink the hips, driving these forward. So we're stretching more into that hip flexor. This is where you can play around with your hips. So if you tip into I take my head and my shoulders and I'm kind of leaning in towards my bent leg in the front. So I'm leaning towards that back wall. My hip is coming towards the camera. So I'm twisting into it. You're going to feel that through the side. So that's where I always get tight, kind of twist through. That's what feels really good to me. By good, I mean really painful, but it'll pay off later. So find that spot that is like so tight and hold it. Try to get it to release. Breathe in through your nose. So when something's painful, when you're breathing, you're telling your brain that you're fine, you're not in fight or flight, you're okay, that it relaxes the muscles. Okay, then you're going to take that back knee and you're pushing it out and away. So keeping the foot on the floor, open up through the hips. You're going to get around through the back of the glute, hip. Okay, then we're going to hit our quad, pop this back leg up and pull it towards you. Same thing, if you pull it's too much, pull the hips, push away from that front foot. So we're staying taller, not as deep into that quad. And if you're feeling good, you can kind of relax and go farther, deeper into it, into the stretch hold. Hopefully your muscles are slowly relaxing. Then we're going to release that, and then we're going to pull straight in that front leg. We're going to hit the hamstring. So you can point your toe and lean into it. It's going to be higher up the hamstring, closer towards your glutes. And then if you lift up the toes, pull back, you're going to hit the back of the leg where kind of your calf crosses over, lower portion of your hamstring. Whatever you need. And the same thing, if you tilt your toes in or out, you're going to hit a different part, either lateral side or medial side of your hamstring. So in towards your groin or out. Just play around with what you need, what feels good. Okay, then we're going to come out of it and we're going to go back to push-up position, and then we're going to take that same leg and we're going to drive pigeon pose. So you could come like downward dog and then lift here, straight leg, drive up, or you can push-up pose, driving the knee forward, foot comes across. I don't know if you heard my hip pop, and then we sink down into that pigeon pose, making sure we're not twisting. We don't want to open up through the groin area. We want to stay stacked. So my hips, back hips are stacked right over my shoulders. I'm actively pulling. So I don't want to twist open here. I want to actively pull this hip back. So I'm stacked shoulders right over the hips. Sinking into pigeon pose. You want to point your back toes. You want your heel, your knee, and your hip to be in a straight line. And then breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. So you should feel this through your glute. Through that front leg that's bent, that's the glute that we're going to feel. And if you're feeling good, you can either lean into it. Other variations that you can play around with is taking this foot, and if you open this foot up here, you're going to feel a different stretch. So foot is parallel to the mat, top of the mat. But keeping those hips, same thing. You don't want to twist open. We're trying to keep everything stacked. So play around with where your foot sits. And you can kind of sneak, lean down into it. Go to your forearms. or you can put your head on your hand. Whatever you feel like you need. Okay, then you're going to pop toes, back toes underneath, pushing up, pulling that foot back. Then you're just going to walk your hands back towards your feet. So we're standing, grab your elbows, and you're just going to twist kind of side to side, releasing the hips. Stretch into the hamstrings. Relax your head. You can nod no or yes. Let your head relax. And then you're going to slowly roll up. Once you're feeling good there, head's nice and relaxed, you're going to go one vertebrae at a time. So start with the low back. We're just going to slowly roll the spine up. Okay. Reach. Okay, got one more. We're going to go into a deep squat. So you're going to go find your squat, and you're going to push hips butt back. You're going to sit down into that squat pose. So you might have to adjust your feet. If we trying to get really deep, we might have to get a little bit wider with our feet. Balance. Then we're going to take our elbows, and we're going to put them on the inside of the knees. We're going to do like we're praying, Happy Sunday. Say your prayers. Hands together, and you're going to push your knees out. So holding this pose. So our hips sinking down into the floor. We should be as flat as we can with our feet. So if we lean into one side, we're going to feel that stretch through your soleus muscles below your calf, or behind your calf, closer towards your bone, and your Achilles. So we're stretching through the Achilles, which is back the ankle. That tendon that's in the back of the foot, that's your Achilles. So hitting the soleus, hitting your Achilles. And you can kind of go to the other side. So we want our foot to be flat on the floor, pressing in, heels reaching towards the ground. Same thing, stretching through that Achilles, your soleus. And we're in that deep squat position. So we've just kind of relaxed, stretched out our hips. Should be able to sink down. Hands pressing open. We're going to hit the adductors. Okay, here we're going to twist. We're just going side to side, continually pressing out. Just trying to stretch through adductors are on the inside of your quad, so groin area. So we're twisting through the hips, keeping those knees open. I always forget to breathe, so keep breathing in through your nose. Okay, then we're going to go. One hand is going to go down onto the floor. The other hand, you're going to twist. You're going to reach, stretch into the shoulder, chest, pec here. I'm getting a Charlie cramp in my shoulder. There we go. So we're here, twist, reach, open up. Actively taking this hand and pulling it as far away from you as you can get it. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. Okay. Feeling that through the shoulder. Gotta rub it out. Okay, then we're going to do the other thing, other side. So opposite hand on the ground. And we're going to open up, reach, twist. Okay, then you come out of your squat. We're going to go toes, feet together, knees wide, walk the hands out, child's pose. You can come up, tent your fingers. So let's do this way. Knees wide, feet together, walking my hands out. I'm going to tap my fingers. So I'm coming up onto my fingers, gives my chest more room to drop down. And you can walk side to the left side or the right side. Like you can stretch through your lats. And I'm just going to do some cat cows. So knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. You're going to drop, look up, breathe. Let's see, in. And push away from the floor. Breathe out. And really exaggerate round. We're trying to hit the back. Kind of find side to side through the shoulders. That's where I'm feeling Friday's workout is right through the back. Traps. And then drop the belly, look up, breathe in. Round out, push away, breathe out. Okay, deep breath. Or you can sit, come to a seated position. Whatever's comfortable. If that's not comfortable, you can put your feet in front of you. But in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Side to side with the neck. Roll your shoulders forward, backwards. Take one hand, go back behind your back, and then that opposite hand, you're going to take your eyeballs and you're looking at the armpit of that hand, and you're going to gently pull the neck. Slow stretch. And then same thing, ear to that same side. We do that same thing on the other side. So other hand behind your back. Look at that armpit, that free hand, and you're pull your top of your head, just gently pull. And you're going to go ear towards your shoulder. You're stretching to the side of the neck. Shoulders. Okay, grab your hands behind your back and you're going to open up through the chest. And then you think broaden your collarbone. So you're going to pull shoulders back, open up. So pulling, broadening the collarbones, open up through the chest, and just see what else needs to be stretched as you're actively pulling backwards. Okay. You can go one hand on heart, one hand on belly. When you breathe in deep, you want to fill up your diaphragm, this belly hand, and then fill up the top hand. And you're going to breathe out. And everything else, so both hands collapse. Breathe in. First belly hand. Then the last little bit, you're going to breathe in through your lungs, top hand. And breathe out. One more. Breathe in through your belly. Breathe in through your lungs. And breathe out. Whew. Okay, hopefully you're feeling better. Happy Sunday. See you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go drink some water.